Hello Shapes people. Welcome back to Shapes. Episode 3. We are still in the early days really. Let's just jump straight into it. I really don't like how the music just abruptly stops like that. Anyway. Here we go. We're in the early days. One milestone 3. It's going to try and teach us how to do bringing things in from space platforms. And we've got some tasks sort of half started, half finished. I really don't recommend that you half start a task. Like, they logically progress. Actually, it's just the one thing. Also, this scroll thing needs to be more sensitive. If anyone's watching, which they're not... Oh god, what is this? Don't look at it. If you don't look at it, can't hurt you. Okay. So yeah, if you want to do the old like, comment, subscribe thing for me for the YouTube goodness, that'll be fine by me. We're just farming some blueprint shapes for now. Just leave this ticking over. So let's jump over to milestone 3 and see exactly what's going on there, shall we? Okay, we got these butterfly pieces that we need. But we kind of annoyingly need just half of it. And the half that we don't need, in and of itself, makes it as well. And I think this is going to be the main challenge with the hexagonal one, is that if a lot of the shapes are going to be 2/6 or 1/3, if you prefer, because you can only cut these in half, it's very awkward to get 2/6 out of 6/6 if you can only cut it to half. You don't have to exactly cut into half, of course. Anyway, so I made this just for now, just to tide us over while the blueprints were ticking over. Oh, that's facing the wrong way, and I probably should put it there. So this would take 2 belts of a shape in, cut it, and also consolidate it. So if I do the old platform thing, so we can do shape mining now. We can build our own shape miners. We only need 2 belts for this. Confused. Extractor, there we go. Let's put you there. Put you there. Did this need to be this far out? Probably not, but still. Space belts, may as well. Got the platforms, may as well use them. So this will bring in, very slowly, this will bring in the shape from the mine. Oh no! The embarrassment. This needs to go down the middle lanes. That makes more sense. There we go. I wondered why this wasn't showing up. This will bring in the shape, and it will give us 4 belts of this. I haven't worked out a good nomenclature for how I'm going to talk about this stuff. So currently this blueprint is just called 4/6 to 2/3, because it takes a shape that is 4/6 and outputs exactly the same. I mean, it's only going to work when the shape is, oh please, like this, right? This is the only way that this works, but that's fine. Sometimes you might want just 1/3 of the shape. Although scrolling down the task list, so like here for example, so this shape you have to then cut into 1/3 here, but the problem with this one is that this is the white on top of blue and red on top of white. Oh no, that is the same all the way around. So we'll probably need another iteration of that design that's a whole shape to 1/3, where we take either opposite sectors or neighbouring. So we take these 2/3, these opposite 2/3 and these top 2/3 and we output just those. But that's of course the challenge with the hexagons. So this is all fine. So we can put this on a space belt. Where's the base? Up here. What are we not needing anymore? Built this in a really awkward spot. Are we saying that we've got enough blueprint shapes for now? Almost 9,000? I think so. It's probably prudent to just give ourselves some space. I'll let these belts empty out just to get the absolute most out of it. And let me squeeze you in. Oh, I don't know. I'll squeeze you in here, I guess. Just go around those two mines. And bung you in like this. Now, what I didn't realise when I deleted the whole base previously is that milestone 3 actually starts with this shape anyway. But that's not too much of an issue because we want to design more efficiently now anyway. And especially we want to start moving away from building on the vortex platform. So we've got this shape and this shape over here. It might be more wise to try and take shapes from here and bring them in. So let's, while we're here quickly, let's look at also a design that takes, because this is what we're going to need next. Now of course we could just keep what we've done here and split it in half. Because we have the, we don't have the half destroyer yet, but we've got the cutter which separates the east and the west half of the shape. So we could just separate the east and the west half of this. It seems inefficient to do that, to do all of this effort. Especially because we're gluing part of the shape back together, right? So this takes this shape, takes one teardrop off, takes one yellow teardrop off. This is the bit that we need, and then this needs to be glued back together. It needs to be glued back together properly as well. If you just, because obviously you need to be cognizant of the whole rotation and mirror image thing. So like this is not the same shape as this. There is no way to make those two shapes the same without using flipping, and you can't use flipping in shapes. Anyway. So a small part of me wants to just ignore it and make this from this. But the sensible part of me knows that we're gonna need a design at some point to take shapes and remove the sector that we need. What's the word for quarters when it's sixths? That doesn't sound right though, does it? Sixth sounds very mathematical, whereas quarter is almost like a, it's like a noun. You can have like a quarter. You can hold a quarter in your hand, right? A quarter of a pie, a quarter of a... I don't know what I'm saying anymore. My brain, it's failing. This should be outputting 4 belts. Why is it not outputting 4 full belts? It's 2 belts in, and then exactly 2 belts out. Where's the bottleneck? I guess the bottleneck is the rotator. Because this is also a full belt out here, but this rotator needs 2 rotators to process a full belt. No, this isn't a full belt out. What are you talking about? This is a quarter of a belt. I don't know where the bottleneck is, folks, basically. I'm not smart enough. Alright, let me try and whip up a design that takes any shape and gives you a sixth of it back. Well, that's not going to work, is it? I'm going to need to have a design that specifically takes the sixths of it that you want. Also, I didn't realise that this shape was different to this shape, even though I've been staring at it for 5 minutes. But again, like this, you can't just cut this in half and say that you've got two lots of this because it's a mirror. This side is a mirror image of this side. So this was definitely a worthwhile exercise, I think. But let's see what else we can do. Okay, small change of plan. I am just going to make these yellow teardrops here very quickly, because what I actually want to do is unlock the half destroyer due to my error in being able to either count or click properly. I don't have the half destroyer yet. Thankfully we can get some easy tasks done. Double tap is very easy. This will give us 10 points right off the bat. So let's just get those research points done, and then once we have the half destroyer, it'll be a lot easier to get what we want out of things like this, presumably. So hold please, caller. Alright, so there's the easy bit done at least, for the one research point. We can repurpose the getting 2/3 bit out of the other side, but we have to do it a bit more sensibly than this, because this shape has what we want, but it has to be white and red on top of, so this isn't quite right. We don't need this anymore. So if we rotate these before they go in, we get what we want here. And then I want to see if just by simply repurposing this again and hooking it up to this, do we get roughly the same? We don't get exactly what we want. Because again, we can't just cut this in half. Because they're not rotationally similar, the halves. And I think that the more I think about it, the more that is going to be an absolute nightmare in this. So instead what I'll do is I will spend a meager 274 blueprint points to do this. These are fine. These, I wish you could change the length of the jump. I mean, I understand why you can't, but and then this, unfortunately, is trash. Seems slightly wasteful, but what's wrong with you? Have I made the I've made the mistake. This is not the same shape. Oh, good God. So these are 90-degree counterclockwise rotators, so surely just by rotating it the other way, we get what we want? No? Oh no, it's a disaster. Stop. Stop doing things. Okay, so what about... Oh, this is... my brain is not going to be able to cope with this, is it? I'm not going to be able to function. So this shape, we want these top 2/3. That's fine. So what was wrong with what I was doing? Clear the whole thing. Clear the whole thing. It's giving me a headache. Why did I agree to do hexagons? Why? So if you just plug this straight in, you don't get what you want, because you're cutting, because it undergoes a half split here. So what you want the half split to do is you want the half split to function on, so not that, all that. Red on white next to, yeah, with blue and white on top of it. So if you half split here, this is the piece that you want. These 2/3 here are what you want to keep. But these 2/3 here are useless to you because they are not the same. So we won't be able to do this at all. So let's keep undoing, let's just keep undoing to get our blueprint points back, because I am a miser. So this is wrong because... What is happening? A shape goal has been completed somewhere. Where? Oh, it was the milestone. I can't do it. I can't do it. Hang on. You're confusing me. And now the flipping front door's going. Oh my god, it's a disaster. So this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. So I need to rotate it twice. 90-degree clockwise, or something like that. That's better. Okay. And then I can still get what I want out of this, right? Because this is definitely correct. This is... And this bit is what I want also, strangely. And that's because the design from this repurposes the other part of it and restacks it, so that actually does turn it around. So we can repurpose this, it turns out. Providing we get the rotation done properly. So you are good. In you go. Please just show me a green tick. It's definitely right. It's definitely right. And then you don't work for the same reason. But then presumably if you also get the two counterclockwise rotations, then you do work. This gives you nothing because... So you go there. Oh, and then this backs up. So this doesn't ever do anything because there's not a shape put on the bottom. So none of this is needed, in fact. None of this is necessary. By definition means the rotation isn't necessary, so in fact all of that is trash. And this, I don't need this. That is also the piece I want. And again, I've mentioned this several times, was this worth working out all of that? Spending the blueprint points, or was it better to just leave this going and trash this other half? I don't know. Although is the bit I'm left over also good? In any way? Because for this shape to be finished, I need 3 copies of the exact same thing, so this is rotationally similar. So there's no way... There's no way to make this shape from this shape by only removing pieces and putting them back. Correct? You would have to flip. You would have to have a mirror image of 1/3 of this for that to work. You can't... So like I can take this bit out and put it here, and I can take this bit out and put it here. Or maybe that doesn't work then. I don't know. Oh my god. Maybe I can. No, if I could, then that would imply that this piece that is remaining is correct, but it's not. It's clearly not correct. But I probably could if I did this better. Oh, this hexagons this is going to be very painful, isn't it? Right. Okay, well we'll leave this ticking over. And what I want to do over here is I thought maybe to make things slightly easier on my poor feeble brain, it might be worth making a module that does the half swapping. Because we're going to need, rather than doing this kind of nonsense, it might make more sense to start with shapes that are entirely one colour. And until we get the painter, the only way we can really achieve that is by doing half swapping. So you need 4 of these to use a full belt. I don't know what that means when both inputs are from the same belt, can't remember. Wow, that wasn't smart, was it? So I'm also rotating these as they come out so that they're north-south aligned, or west-east aligned I should say is more accurate. So what we need half swapping, but one set of the shape has to be rotated 180 degrees before it goes in. So then this gets you a purely blue shape and a purely white shape. We'll trash the white shape for now, and then having a shape that is all blue will make things like this easier, because then we can just work out a good way to separate this into thirds. So we can then build a simple 1x1 module that inputs one shape and outputs 3 similar thirds of that shape. And that should be a lot easier than this flipping nonsense going on over here. Oh my god. What have I let myself in for here, folks? Well, it should be fun, at least. In a manner of speaking, it should be fun. So this is about to finish, but let me design this, because you don't want to see me copy and paste this 6 times. It'd be very dull. Okay, this makes more sense. Bring in 4 belts, output 4 belts, but at least keep it, mate. So we got all blue shapes on one side, all white shapes on the other side. This will be useful, especially because there's a task in a bit to just stack these shapes on top of each other. So that will be fine. This one, sure, I'll do some half swapping. Be fine, be fine. This will prove useful. This will certainly prove useful to mix 2 halves together. As for splitting 2 halves together, I don't know, like, look at this. This is interesting. It's actually totally jammed. This is interesting. I'm sure it's possible. I didn't want to spend too long on it because my OBS was obviously just paused. So I might go into the lab later, into the jank tank. There must be a way to use half splitting to get what you want, right? And what's super interesting about this, in my opinion at least, is that you get out an entire shape that you can just reuse. This is a waste of space. So you sort of use this as like a catalyst almost, and you get out the rainbow piece. Rainbow piece? The umbrella piece. Oh, I said rainbow, I meant umbrella. You get out the umbrella piece, but you can't. I couldn't work out a way to also get an umbrella piece out on the other side. The difficulty arises, of course, is because all you need to do is you need to swap this piece and this piece. You just need to swap those 2 pieces over. I don't know if there's a way you can do that with just rotating and half splitting. I might, you know, this turned into dissertation territory, you know. So I don't know. It might be better. This might not go anywhere. It might be better to just split them and mix them and stuff like that. But there's certainly more room here compared to squares, at least, for doing. Because I had a pretty useful half swapping thing that I used a lot in my squares playthrough. And what this does is it rotates and splits in such a way that you just alternate the top left and the bottom right corners, because there are a lot of checkerboard designs in the square version of shapes. So having something that was equally good for hexagons will be extremely helpful. Because, you know, we've got this kind of stuff coming up. If we can just nail this down, we'll be laughing. And then, of course, this is ready to go. We still need to look at making this. But this will certainly be easier now that we have a way to turn designs that are mines that are like half colours into. I don't know how useful that will be going forward, because if we look a bit further afield, you know, there's not many places that give us just halves, you know? The starting area. So like this, for example, this would be good, because then we can just get pure hexagons and pure chevrons out. And it doesn't necessarily matter about the colour, we can just repaint them. The paint, yeah, it just creates an extra layer on top. You can't, if you paint red on top of yellow, you don't get orange, you have to use orange paint. So the colour of the shape is pretty immaterial in the beginning. As long as we can get, you know, when it comes to stuff like this, then Christ alive. But we'll probably end up having big designs that just give us sixths. You know, just give us the sixths of the shape that we want. I've bitten off more than I can chew here, folks, I feel like. But we'll stick with it. We'll stick with it. So we're just waiting on. Obviously, this is extremely painfully slow. So let's speed this up. Get the half destroyer. The half destroyer will also be very useful in some things coming up. So let's just wait for that to finish up, shall we? Okay. It occurs to me that I didn't use the wires or the circuit logic in my first playthrough. It occurs to me that that might be a use case for this, to just reincorporate these back into the main line, like some sort of weird Covarex almost sort of thing, you know, prioritise the reusable ones. But I think there's a good chance that when I have a proper look at it later, and I don't feel like I'm up against the clock because I'm recording, that I can work out a way to rotate shapes in such a way that I just get 2 exact umbrellas out. If I can get one out, I don't see why the other one wasn't just automatically the opposite of that, but it's to do with the fact that, as I say, you only want to swap these 2 over, but you have to swap 3 at a time. So, yeah. I'll go into the lab off stream, and then I set up a couple of things over here. So this one is just going to make this one for us, just rotate 180 degrees and stack it on top of the other. And then I realised what you're supposed to do is cut this in half and then stack one half on top of the other, right? That's all that is. But just because I had this bit already ready to go, I thought I would just whip up this very quick and dirty way of doing it over here. Again, perfect is the enemy of good. This is atrocious. I will never ever reuse this design. It's going straight in the bin as soon as it's done with. Let's not worry too much about it. So then this just cuts these in half and delivers them, and then once this is fulfilled we can just delete this section of this and just feed the belt right in. That will certainly be a lot quicker than designing a whole thing that stacks stuff on top of each other perfectly forevermore. Although we will need that, but this episode's coming up to half an hour, so this is all going to tick over nicely. And so next time we can finish doing Milestone 3, we'll finally have enough research points to get the half destroyer, which should help. Maybe it will help, I don't know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, the reality of how difficult Hexagonal Challenge Mode is going to be has really sunk in this episode. So yeah, if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.